A Joint Commission International Tracer is a special kind of audit. It's not just about looking at paperwork. Instead, it follows the journey of a single patient through the hospital system. Surveyors select a patient's medical record and then visit the areas where that patient received care. They talk to the staff who were directly involved in that care. This method allows them to see how policies are actually put into practice at the bedside. It provides a real-time snapshot of the quality and safety of the services you provide, connecting the dots between written rules and real-world actions to ensure the highest standards are consistently met. The importance of the tracer methodology really cannot be overstated. It is the core of the JCI accreditation process. Tracers help hospitals identify potential risks and areas for improvement in patient care pathways. They focus on the integration and coordination of care across different departments and disciplines. For example, a tracer might follow a patient from the emergency department to radiology, then to a surgical ward, and finally to physiotherapy. This comprehensive view helps ensure that communication is clear and handovers are safe at every single step, which is absolutely fundamental to preventing medical errors and improving patient outcomes. Think of a tracer as a story. It tells the complete story of one patient's experience in your facility. Surveyors use this story to verify that your hospital is meeting JCI standards. They want to see evidence that your team works together effectively. They check things like medication management, infection control practices, and patient identification protocols. It is a dynamic and interactive evaluation. The goal is to confirm that the excellent care described in your policies is the same excellent care that every patient receives every single day. This method makes the survey process much more meaningful than a simple checklist review. By focusing on individual patient experiences, tracers highlight what truly matters in healthcare. They move the focus away from just having a good policy on paper to demonstrating that the policy works in practice. This approach helps to build a strong culture of safety within the hospital. It encourages staff to think critically about their own roles and how they contribute to the overall patient journey. Ultimately, mastering the tracer process is not just about passing a survey. It is about committing to a continuous cycle of improvement that places patient safety and quality of care at the very heart of everything you do. The first step in preparing for a JCI tracer is to review and update your key documents. Your hospital's policies and procedures are the rulebook for safe patient care. You must ensure they are current, evidence-based, and aligned with the latest JCI standards. Form a dedicated committee to go through each policy, paying close attention to high-risk areas like medication administration, infection control, and patient rights. Make sure that these documents are not just stored away in a folder, but are easily accessible to all staff who need them, both in print and on the hospital's internal network. Once your policies are in order, you must conduct your own practice tracers. This is like a dress rehearsal for the real survey. Select a real active patient file and follow that patient's journey through your hospital. Have a small team, acting as mock surveyors, visit the relevant wards and departments. They should review the patient's chart, observe care being delivered, and check the environment. This hands-on practice is invaluable. It helps your team become familiar with the process and reduces the anxiety that a real survey can cause. It also uncovers problems in a low-stakes environment where they can be fixed. During these practice walks, documentation is key. Your team should meticulously check that the care documented in the patient's file matches the care being provided. For instance, if the chart says a certain medication was given at 10 o'clock in the morning, is there evidence of that? If a care plan requires specific safety checks, are they being recorded accurately and consistently? This process of matching documentation to reality is central to the tracer method. It confirms that your records are a true and reliable reflection of the patient's care, ensuring continuity and clear communication between all members of the healthcare team. Finally, do not forget to check the physical environment. During a tracer, surveyors will look at everything. This includes checking for expired medications in medicine cabinets or on emergency carts. They will inspect fire extinguishers to ensure they are not blocked and have been recently serviced. They will look for clutter in hallways that could be a safety hazard. Pay close attention to things like missing signatures on consent forms or incomplete entries in medical logs. Fixing these seemingly small issues shows a commitment to detail and a culture of thoroughness, which makes a very strong positive impression on surveyors. Effective staff training is crucial for a successful tracer. Your team members are the ones who will be speaking directly to the surveyors, so they need to feel confident and prepared. The goal is not to have them memorize long, complicated answers. Instead, you should train them to answer questions simply, honestly, and correctly. Focus on common questions that are likely to come up during a tracer. For example, staff should be able to explain how they identify a patient before giving medication, what they would do in case of a fire, or where to find the hospital's policy on patient rights. Role-playing is an excellent training tool. Set up mock interview sessions where staff can practice answering these common questions. Create realistic scenarios based on past surveys or your own internal practice tracers. This allows employees to get comfortable with being asked direct questions about their work. Provide constructive feedback during these sessions. Emphasize that it is perfectly okay to say, "I am not sure, but I know where to find the information." This is much better than guessing or giving incorrect information. The aim is to build confidence, not to create anxiety or fear about the survey process. Your training should also cover how to explain the care they are providing for a specific patient. When a surveyor points to a name on a chart and asks about their care plan, the nurse or doctor should be able to articulate it clearly. They should be able to connect their actions back to the patient's diagnosis and the hospital's established protocols. For example, they might say, "This patient is on fall precautions because of their age and medication. That is why you see the yellow armband and the bed is in the lowest position." This demonstrates competent, thoughtful care that is guided by policy. It is also important to train staff to be guides, not just answer providers. They should feel empowered to show surveyors the evidence of good care. If asked about hand hygiene, they can point to the hand sanitizer dispensers and explain the 5 moments of hand hygiene. If asked about patient education, they can show the surveyor the informational pamphlets they provided to the patient and their family. This proactive approach shows that your staff are not just passive participants in the survey. They are proud owners of their processes and are actively engaged in maintaining a safe environment for their patients. A powerful strategy for success is to choose staff champions for each department. These are not necessarily managers, but rather respected clinical staff who are experts in their daily work and passionate about quality. These champions can act as guides for the surveyors. They can speak confidently about the care processes on their unit and explain the why behind their team's actions. They serve as a calm, knowledgeable presence during the tracer, helping to facilitate a smooth and positive interaction. Empowering these individuals also builds leadership skills and ownership of quality standards at the grassroots level. Clear communication is another key to success. Encourage staff to use simple, direct language when speaking with surveyors. Avoid using confusing jargon or hospital-specific acronyms that an external person might not understand. It is also a great idea to keep a dedicated tracer logbook or digital file. In this log, you can document the findings from your internal practice tracers, note the corrective actions taken, and track your progress over time. This creates an invaluable resource for continuous improvement and serves as tangible evidence of your hospital's commitment to proactively addressing any identified issues. Remember that the JCI Tracer is fundamentally about what really happens in day-to-day patient care. It is not just an exercise in perfecting paperwork for a survey. The ultimate goal is to embed these high standards of safety and quality into the fabric of your hospital's culture. When best practices are followed every day with every patient, preparing for a survey becomes much less stressful. It simply becomes a matter of showcasing the excellent work your team is already doing. The survey should be a reflection of your normal, not an exception to it. Finally, foster a spirit of teamwork and shared responsibility. A successful tracer outcome is not the result of one person's efforts, but the collective work of the entire hospital staff. Encourage departments to collaborate and learn from each other's practice tracers. Celebrate successes and openly discuss challenges as a team. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out my last video on 7 JCI mistakes to avoid. And if you've had any experience with JCI tracers, share it in the comments below. Let's learn from each other.